So first we're going to look at square error. Let's define, let's type it right. S to be instantiate square error. And the way this works is if I give it a number like 5, I say ask S 5, it says 25. Ask S 43, what? Ask S 43. Thank you. I don't know what I did wrong. I typed it wrong. Ask S 100. Ask S 7. Buzz, it says. Well, it's clear why it says buzz. It's because of this. Notice in passing, this is a stupid class. You wouldn't write a class like this ever. But notice in passing that you can use numbers as messages, even though I could not define a procedure named 7. Numbers are not allowed to be the names of procedures. So this gives you a hint about the implementation, that we're not actually using define, whatever the message is, blah, 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 to make methods. Instead, we're just saying lambda of whatever arguments it takes, and we're somehow associating that with the message 7. So we'll see more about next week about how that works. But the important point here is this. A new clause we haven't seen before. You can think of this as an alternative to inheritance, to having a parent clause for messages that you don't know how to deal with. So what the parent says is, if I don't know how to deal with a message, ask my parent. This says, if I don't know how to deal with the message, here's how. And in this case, the default method says times message message. So we need another list of special variables in our object system. One is self, and here's 2 more. Message and args. These 2 exist only in default method. So when you're writing a method that has a name, you can't use these. Because when you're writing a method that has a name, you know what the message is, and you've specified formal parameters for the arguments. But in default method, there's no lambda or anything here. But implicitly, it's lambda of message.args. Well, no, I'm sorry. It's lambda args, and message is from the con clause. Anyway, the way it works, never mind the implementation details, message is whatever message was sent. So if I send the message 43, message has the value 43 times message message means times 43, 43, and we get 1,849. Okay? I didn't use args here because there weren't any extra arguments. So args in this case is always going to be an empty list. But you can write a default method that does take arguments by looking for them in args. Yes? What if I have both a parent and a default method? I'm saving you the trouble. Somebody always asks. Well, first of all, it's a screwy thing to do. Because, as I said, these 2 are different approaches to solving the same problem, which is how to deal with messages I don't know about. Second of all, supposing for some reason that you do want to do it, only one of the 2 possible interpretations actually makes sense. And 2 possible interpretations are about which do I look at first. Do I try the parent first, or do I try the default method first? Well, what happens if I try the default method first? It always works, right? Default method accepts every message. So if we did default method first, we would never get to use whatever you put in the parent clause. So the language, if you do that, it tries the parent first. If the parent handles that message, accepts that message, then that's what happens. We use the parent. And if not, we come back and try the default method, which will always work. Okay? But again, if you want to do that, you're probably designing your class structure wrong in some way. Okay, so default method, there it is.